Hey, it's Sam from Sugar Spun Run, and today we are going to be making my creamy Cajun chicken. All right, today's recipe is all about getting dinner on the table quickly. I've made some more involved, and I'd say maybe even slightly more sophisticated Cajun recipes in the past, but this is a quick one. It's easy, it comes together super fast, and it's so good. So let's go ahead and just jump right in. You're going to want some pasta for today's recipe. You'll need 8 ounces. I personally like a penne pasta. All those little holes in there will hold and cling onto the sauce really nicely. But if you want to use a noodle, linguine would also be a great option. I am going to start cooking this in my stovetop in just a second. I don't think you guys need to watch the pasta boil. You know how that goes. You're just going to cook it according to the package instructions in some nicely salted water. Let's talk about our chicken. You're going to need 1.5 pounds of chicken for today's recipe. And to season it nice and easily, I'm putting it in a large zipper bag. And this is just chicken breast I've cut into 1-inch pieces. And we're going to add a tablespoon of Cajun seasoning. So if I use a store-bought Cajun seasoning, I usually use, I'm not affiliated with them or anything, but the Slap Ya Mama, very friendly named Slap Ya Mama brand Cajun seasoning. I like it because it doesn't have a lot of additives, has a really nice Cajun flavor, but I also could share with you my from scratch Cajun seasoning if you want that. Just ask for it. Maybe I'll pop it in the description because sometimes I make my own. And then I do amp up the flavor a little bit with just another 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper and a 1/4 teaspoon of table salt. And just close this up and just sort of shake things all around to get that chicken nicely coated. Try to remember to link to that Cajun seasoning too, because I think I normally get it off Amazon actually. A lot of times I'll make my own spice blends, but it's just really nice to have things on hand sometimes. All right, now over on the stove top, you're going to want to use a large skillet, and to this we are going to add 2 tablespoons of butter, salted or unsalted, either is really going to be fine here. We're going to turn our stove top to medium-high heat. All right, once your pan is nice and hot, we're going to add our chicken and try to give this some space in here. I like to hear a little bit of sizzle when I add the chicken to the pan. That's how I know it's hot enough. So cook it in an even-ish layer. The more space you give it, the better browning you're going to get on it and the better flavor you're going to have. You can definitely cook your chicken in batches if you don't have enough space. And honestly, if I'm in a really big hurry, all of the chicken just goes in the pan and I'm tossing it. So I don't get as nice of a browning, but it gets dinner on the table faster. So you get to decide, flavor or speed. Since I'm filming this though, I'm going to be a little bit more patient and I'll do this in batches. All right, once that chicken is just cooked through, we're going to remove it to a plate. Let's go ahead and cook the rest of it. I'll just tent this chicken with a little bit of foil to keep it warm. All right, let's take the rest of this over to our plate. And then immediately we're going to add another tablespoon of butter. Turn the heat down just a notch. Get this nice and melted. Then I'm going to add my peppers. So I have not diced, thinly sliced 2 bell peppers here. I'm using an orange and a red. You can use whichever you prefer. Get the butter nicely melted. You can see they're nicely thinly sliced. Drop those right in there, along with half of a yellow onion that we have diced. You could cut the onion into strips or you could dice the peppers instead if you want. I just happen to prefer my peppers sliced, my onions diced here. So we're gonna stir everything together. Want to make sure all of our veggies get coated with a little bit of that butter. And we're going to cook this until our veggies just begin to soften. Something I've really been wanting to try with this recipe is I've been wanting to add a can of fire roasted tomatoes right here. My kids and my husband don't really like tomatoes, so I don't add it, but it's something I've been wanting to experiment with. All right, once the veggies are softened, we're going to add a little bit more spice. We're going to add a teaspoon of Cajun seasoning here. I like to add 3/4 teaspoon of smoked paprika, 1/2 teaspoon of dried basil, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper, and just a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Stir these in really briefly. And these extra flavors just really add emphasis to the Cajun seasoning. Suppose if you don't feel like measuring those out, you could just do an extra teaspoon of Cajun seasoning, but it's just how I like it. Then we have 1.5 cups of heavy cream, which we're going to slowly drizzle in here. This is how everything gets nice and creamy. And I like to see this thicken a little bit before we go any further. Just takes like a minute or two. All right, now let's go ahead and add a 1/3 cup of freshly grated Parmesan cheese. Stir that in just a bit. And then we'll return our chicken to the pan. Any juices that are on that plate too, you want those in there. Your pasta should be finished cooking now too, so we're going to add that in as well, of course. Give everything a nice stir. Make sure that sauce starts to cling to those noodles. It's only gonna take a minute, and then dinner is ready. We can top it with a little bit of dried parsley for some color, or fresh parsley, that's fine too. I'm out of that right now. And this sauce is going to thicken as it cools as well. All right, and dinner is served. So this is really good if you want to add another sprinkling of that fresh Parmesan cheese on top. I think you're really gonna like it. It's a great, quick weeknight dinner. If you try this one, let me know what you think. I do always love hearing from you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. It's gonna be a little hot. That was good. Thank you. Yeah, you can try some. You want what? A chocolate chip. This is a dinner recipe.